Good morning. So last night we had a really nasty thunderstorm and it took out a bunch of my tomatoes and knocked them flat over, as you can see. We do a container garden because we have a lot of wildlife and it's not worth it to fight it. So everybody's in a container. Because of the weight of the water that fell down, the tomato plants all are now laying flat on the ground. So this morning I'm going through and staking them with these bamboo poles. These are the poles that I found at my local Home Depot. They're just bamboo plant stakes. They're pretty inexpensive, they're sustainable, they're very durable, and they get as long as I need them to. I chose a bush type pea this year. It didn't get nearly as tall as my previous peas, but that's the reason I like these 72-inch long rods. They can climb as high as they need. And our tomato plants tend to get pretty tall as well. So far I've done 2 of them. It was quite a tangle. I had to very carefully pull them apart and tie them to their stakes, but this guy is still down here. You can see where it's bent completely over and laying on the ground. And because they're quick to reach for the sun, they begin bending at the tops. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plant and I'm going to tie it. Usually I tie at the bend. As you can see, I've got flowers there. So I'm going to be tying a little bit lower. And I'm going to tie down towards the base, like you can see on this guy right over here. And then once I do that, I'll show you a shot of what it looks like. Now, everyone has been staked up. You can see right down here. The stake isn't in the best spot possible, but this particular stem was very twisted after getting knocked over. But I staked it there, and then a little higher up near the bend. See, here's where the bend is, where it's trying to reach for the sun from the ground. I went ahead and put another tie. I could even put a tie here about in the middle. I opted not to. I'm going to wait for my top to straighten up a little bit before I do that. But just to give you an idea, after the plant went to the ground, this is the bend. It was trying to reach upward, if you can see that. But because it was on the ground and bent backwards, now it's pointing towards the ground. So as it begins to point back towards the sun, straight up, I will probably stake it again here, right about this spot on the stake. You might also notice that our tomato plants towards the bottom have very few leaves. Septoria leaf spot is a huge problem in my area, so it's good practice for tomatoes to go ahead and strip the lower leaves off to avoid any infection. Septoria is not curable, but it is containable. We just don't like to deal with it. It's an infection that spreads very quickly, and it'll strip a plant of foliage, and then you'll end up losing your fruit to sun scorch. Just so you can see, here you can see all the dirt that's on the leaves and on the stem. That is all backwash from the plant's soil from right here. The rain fell so hard it knocked them over, and then it was spewing out a bunch of the container soil. I usually like to put some sort of covering, burlap or something over top to prevent that from happening. I hadn't gone around to it this time, and we were out of town visiting family, so now the deck is covered in lots and lots of dirt. So I'll be cleaning that up, cleaning off the exteriors of the pots, and I'll be putting in our burlap covers to keep that from bouncing back out. But there you go. That is how we have staked these tomato guys. I'll keep you updated on how they turn out as they begin lifting back towards the sun and straightening back out.